with no blackout dates.
And in the Impact segment tonight, brand new Fox poll on foreign policy. 1,000 registered voters were asked about President Obama's leadership on foreign policy. 57% say weak and indecisive. 34% say strong and decisive. On terrorism, 38% say the president's doing a good job, 56% a bad job. That is a record low for that question. On foreign policy in general, 34% approve, 59% disapprove. Senator React, one of the co-hosts of The Five, Bob Beckel. And you say?
I say that I've never in my political career of 30 years seen as much movement off of two events, the killing, the decapitating of two U.S. citizens, where the public took a huge turn in the polls. And as they did that, they blame Obama. I mean, he's the one sitting there in office. It's what the president gets a hit on. But before that, the American people weren't favorable.
They weren't engaged. They didn't know what ISIS was.
Exactly right.
Right? Because, again, as I said in the talking points, it's hard to get their attention. But once you get their attention, because these beheadings were put on the internet, then they know. But the president has been derelict in his analysis of ISIS. I mean, we now know that he knew about the threat for a year. He didn't do anything about it. All right. I mean, I kept badgering him. Look, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. And there isn't any reason. Tonight he's going to say we're going to go into Syria and bomb them there. Why didn't he say that 6 months ago?
Well, it's a good. You could always say in hindsight he should have done it. But by the way, the intelligence community are covering their butts if there ever was. I've been in the White House before. It's classic. We knew about this for a year. We told about it. First of all, ISIS has been around, that strain of Islam, since 1720. This is nothing new.
But they had the money, the guns, and the organization in Syria to expand and mount. You're telling me you don't believe the CIA knew that and gave that dispatch?
I think the CIA is one of the, well, first of all, the U.S. intelligence has been derelict in a lot of places, particularly the Middle East. But because it's very difficult, complicated to find out. The idea that Maliki, that somehow we could have saved a victory, that wasn't a victory. In Iraq, we never should have gotten there in the first place.
Why did Biden and Obama say it was?
I have no idea.
But see, that's the problem with the foreign policy that the president has implemented. He says stuff, and then it blows right up. I mean, come on. Americans are going, okay, you told me that Iraq was a stable situation, so we're pulling all Americans out of there, which was a mistake, and we said so at the time, all right? Because it isn't 2020.
You think keeping American soldiers there would have kept that stable?
I think it would have kept ISIS out. Absolutely would have kept them out.
Really?
Yeah. Because we would have had, and I was there, as you know, we would have had an infrastructure there to be with the Iraqi forces, all right, as backup. That's what they need. Once we left, the corruption set in, the rivalry set in, the discipline went down. Same thing's going to happen in Afghanistan. But the bottom line is that the president, as I said to Rove, isn't a wartime president. He doesn't have any interest in it.
He was, by the way, I hate to correct you, I know you're never wrong, but there were no missiles in Poland and Czech Republic. It was a defense missile system. But let me say this. He ran as the domestic president, and you can't run as a domestic president. You don't have that option as a president. You know, things are going to happen. But he concentrated on domestic issues, you well know.
Right.
And I think he wanted to keep foreign policy off the table. I don't think he ever liked it. And now all of a sudden it's coming at him in massive numbers. Not as dangerous as a lot of us are making it out to be, but nonetheless.
It's pretty dangerous, though. I mean, ISIS is a pretty dangerous concept because of the ability to raise money and get people places. Look, 9/11 was a bunch of clowns, all right? They took over 3 planes. That's not some kind of sophisticated operation. They just got in here and were able to do it.
Yeah,
these ISIS guys are better trained than they are, got more money than they had, and they can absolutely do it again.
And we finally have a little bit more protection than we had back then when the intelligence community knew these guys were in the country.
You just said the intelligence community doesn't know what they're doing.
No. I said they knew, the CIA knew, and the FBI knew, and they never talked to each other.
All right.
That was the whole idea of the war powers.
My point is that I'm not convinced that Barack Obama, like James Buchanan before the Civil War broke out, all right, has the stomach for the fight. He doesn't seem to be passionate enough. If I'm the president, I say, look, I'm going to kill every one of these bastards, and I'm not going to tell you how, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to kill them. You know why? Because they want to kill us, and they already have killed American citizens, and they're out to put the world in a very, very bad place. So I am going to use American power to kill as many as I can. Thank you. Good night. Go watch your entertainment program.
That's, you know, and I know that's not going to happen, because I think you're right. There's something here that's right, which is that he views war, and he views our involvement in the Middle East as something far different than George Bush did, far different than other people have, and the threat level of ISIS. We're all scaring people to death. My son said to me before he went to college, Dad, should I be worried about ISIS? I said, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely
but aren't you
not.
misleading?
Absolutely. That my kid can't go to college in this country. You believe for a second that we can't keep these? Look, these guys are already, once we put some missiles on them, and once the Kurds got some guns, they're running like scalded dogs.
Listen, it takes 5 of them to get in here and to blow up something.
How do you think they're going to get in here? Oh, listen.
How do I think? Go down to the south border and go in with the kids from Central America.
You could go in with the kids from Central America.
All right, come on. You know, I wouldn't tell anybody they're not a threat because they want to kill us. They've stated that. And they're ruthless, and they have suicide bombers, and they have all of that ready to go. Last word.
The last word is that I think that ISIS is an organized group of thugs with money because they got oil, and they're not going to have that. And I think the expectations of Barack Obama are so low on foreign policy. The Republicans are going to try to make an issue out of it, and ISIS is going to be on the run, and it's going to be a positive for them.
All right. Bob Beckel, everybody, directly ahead. What are the